not talking about Russia. I'm just kidding. All right, so all right, hey everybody, welcome to our little show here. Thank you guys for all the support. I'm here with my co-host,
I'm Discordian. Thank you for coming back.
and I'm Anon to World. So we're going to be talking about some activism and hacktivism that's been going around in the name of Anonymous. What do you think?
So what exactly are you referring to? Are you referring to Operation Russia at the moment?
Yes.
Because there's a lot of hacktivism and activism always going on in Anonymous.
Right, there is, but not to the extent that we've ever seen before. I think this is the biggest operation that's ever happened within the collective.
Yeah, that's very much true. I agree with you there. Are there any specific attacks that you want to talk about? Any specific targets?
There's a lot of them. I mean, there's so many that I can't even really count. I mean, as we're talking about this, the equivalent of the KGB just went down, and whoever's attacking that stuff is just, you guys have some balls of steel. I'll give you that. Just like Zelensky.
Yeah, okay, I agree with you there. So let's do it somewhat chronologically. Um, let's go back to about a month ago, right, where we were gathering open source intelligence data like satellite images from troops forming along the Ukrainian border with Russia. Right, we saw what was coming.
Right.
The
Yeah, we definitely were getting that intel. Sure.
Yeah, the OS int community had been saying for a while, hey, there is this war coming to Ukraine because there's a lot of aggression along the border. Um, then
So
afterwards,
before you go further, I don't mean to disrail you. For people who may not know what OSN int is, tell them.
OS int is open source intelligence. It's basically the same kind of thing that intelligence agencies do, but on a voluntary basis, and it's open source, so anyone can participate in it. Um, this can be done through tracking planes on websites like Flight Radar. It can be done through checking satellite imagery from different corporations, right? Um, it can even be done by analyzing recorded footage from people who are on the ground and
Yes.
experiencing this stuff.
So we can decipher the stuff going on the ground and verify it in various different ways. So continue on about what you were talking about the operation and stuff like that about a month ago.
So then afterwards, Biden had this press conference, right? That Russia was going to attack Ukraine, that an attack was imminent, and no one believed him at that point. There was a lot of Russian propaganda going on that if Russia invades Ukraine, they would be welcomed with open arms because they speak the same language, stuff like that. Um,
Yeah.
but then the actual invasion happened, and a lot of people changed their minds on this. Thankfully, a lot of people stopped buying the Russian propaganda. And on day one of the invasion, Anonymous started leaking data from a Belarusian arms manufacturer.
Yeah. And that can
And
be
those are the same bombs that are now currently being used in Ukraine. Go ahead.
right, and that data can be accessed by going to the website ddossecrets.com. It's all one word, one S. So ddossecrets.com. That data was leaked to those activists over there so they could participate in getting that data out to the public.
Excellent.
So, there's been a lot of different things going on with cyber activism lately, where Anonymous has just kind of gone crazy and just attacking a lot of the government sites. I notice we're not taking down. I shouldn't say we, because we shouldn't implicate ourselves in doing this kind of stuff, because we are in a Western democracy where this kind of stuff is still garnered to be illegal. So other people are taking down various sites, and what do you think about that? Do you think that's having any type of impact?
Oh, of course it's having an impact. Yeah, how do you frame this, right? Because in essence, I am advocating for stopping disinformation. But how do you justify that in a freedom of speech kind of stance?
Because it's a digital protest. So like it's like me and you going to
Yeah.
going to a bank who's stolen like this poor person's money and locking arms and chaining ourselves to the doorway.
Yeah.
You know, me and Disco aren't going to put up with you assholes stealing money from people. So me and Disco chained our arms together and said, "No, you can't enter the bank."
Exactly. So it's like a digital protest, and we are also refraining Russians from getting false information out, because they're very effective at doing that.
Well, there's what happened the other day was somebody posted on a few of the anonymous activist accounts how to get randomized Russian numbers and send people texts warning the Russian people about what Putin is doing, and it seems to have gone off pretty well.
Yeah, are you hearing any messages from Russian people saying like, "Holy shit, I didn't know what was going on"?
No, I guess there are some people that are still in communication with the Russian people. They are getting some responses back. Personally, I've tried it and I haven't gotten any, but I also didn't spam the hell out of it, which I probably could. You know, I think what some of the activists that I know me and you are kind of working on with might be setting up a massive kind of communications platform that will hit everything across the board. Well, maybe we should cut that out because I don't know if that's legal or not.
So, do you know if there are any plans to further inform Russian people of what is actually going on the ground, like,
Yes.
for example, mass emailing campaigns?
Yes, absolutely.
And how do you prevent those emails and text messages getting past the censors? Like, do you have to be creative with your messages, because the default message usually gets blocked, right?
I think that all depends on the censorship levels. So the firewall in Russia right now that they have up is just basically blocking Twitter sites and some Facebook access. It's not fully 100% implemented yet. They're not screening calls from overseas, obviously. Otherwise, they'd be blocking Ukrainian numbers when you see these prisoners of war talking. That's not their cell phones being used, it's the Ukrainian cell phones being used. So there is still communication. People can call over to Russia. You can call the Kremlin and speak to somebody and say, "Hey, I don't like what you're doing," and then they usually hang up on you. But yes, you can call over there. So there is no filter. Yeah, and I noticed there's been a couple accounts that have been posting some phone numbers and stuff like that to call. But people also have to worry about their cell phone bills too.
So if you're worried about your cell phone bill, what should you do?
The problem with that is, so I would suggest using some kind of either SMS service for free, like an anonymizing SMS service, and there's plenty of them out there that you could find, or you can't use Google Voice to call Russia because it's only dedicated to the country usually that you're living in.
Yeah, and hasn't Google blocked Russia recently? I'm not
Yes,
sure about the
I
specifics.
believe they're limiting a lot of stuff in Russia right now. Yes.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of disinformation bots out there trying to push the Russian agenda, but I mean, you could tell them real quick. So there's really, I mean, their game is weak. I don't hate to say it. I just kind of was thinking that we'd be up against a lot more, and it's like they're 5 to 10 years behind us technologically.
It certainly seems that way. Um, what what kind of misinformation do you see spouted by those bots? I mean, I saw a picture on Twitter of like 50 people in a row calling Vladimir Putin an alpha male. Have you seen that? Did
I
you see that
haven't.
picture?
Oh yeah, I did, and it was the same. It was the same exact quote. Yeah. So
Yeah.
those were like it was like a bullshit attack. Just oh, he's an alpha male. Oh yeah, really? Oh, come on.
And also this idea that Russia puts out that the Luhansk and Donetsk regions of Ukraine are essentially Russian. Like he even
He's
how do you call
leveling
that?
their cities.
Yeah, but what they've been doing for the past years is sending Russian citizens there and paying people to spread disinformation over there so that they would become the separatist movement that they are today. So it's kind of this soft imperialism that they've been working towards for the past few years,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Um, but
But
the
it's
rest
completely
of
failed.
yeah, and the rest of Ukraine is completely against this invasion. Like they're fighting tooth and nail to
Right. And
defend
I've
their country,
seen
to defend their democracy.
Yeah, and I've seen propaganda where they're showing like Russian troops supposedly liberating people, getting them out of harm's way and stuff like that. But there's no flowers. There's no embracing these people. They're just kind of these Ukrainian people are just kind of looking at them like, who the hell are you? What the majority I'm seeing is, get the hell out of our city. We don't
Yeah,
need you here.
they're even making Molotov cocktails and throwing them at tanks.
Right. So, I mean, I think. What do you think about this? I did see one person say, "You're doing more harm than good. You can inadvertently start a nuclear war." What do you think about that statement?
Well, NATO has said that they would trigger Article 5 if cyber attacks against NATO countries are conducted by a foreign enemy, right?
What's
So,
Article 5? Explain that to people.
Article 5 is attack one of us, attack all of us. So that basically means that all NATO countries will be at war. Um,
But what I'm talking about is Anonymous's cyber attack against Russia in OpRussia. People are saying you guys are gonna, do more harm than good.
no, I actually think that we are creating a, a I actually think that we are bringing the truth to people that need to hear it.
Right. And
I don't see how that would cause nuclear war. What do you think?
No, I don't either. I mean, as long as we're not. I mean, I don't see why they would even go that way. What they could do is misdirect everything and redirect it actually, and turn it and say, well, this is the United States doing it, when it's actually a global effort. A lot of anonymous activists that I know aren't even in the United States. Like, just like Disco right here, I'm talking to him, and there's no way he lives in the United States. And
Oh, I live in the Netherlands.
right. So the thing is, we're everywhere, and when we all come together and finally fight for something that we all truly believe in, we're one hell of a powerful force.
That's very much true. So even if Russia would blame our cyber attacks on the United States, what would they do about it? Drop a nuke on the US because of cyber attacks? That seems a little bit excessive. They know that once they drop a nuke, the protocols instantly get triggered to send a counter nuke. Yeah, it's mutually assured destruction.
Yeah, mutually assured destruction. Mad because it's crazy. It's mad.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm old enough to have been able to gloriously live through the Cold War. You're lucky enough not to have. But what do you think of this situation? Is it scary for you?
I know it's scary for a lot of my peers. What scares me the most, and it might sound a little bit privileged, I live inside of the European Union, and we've been at peace for 70 years, and I'm afraid that this war will disrupt that peace.
Yep.
And I value our peace a lot. I mean, who doesn't, right?
Right. And that's what usually, our type of activism is all about, is the peace is disrupted. We have to do something about it. Those people are suffering because of, all kinds of different, scenarios. We've been fighting all kinds of people for a very long time.
Yeah.
Including the United States.
Including the United States, absolutely. And we will continue to do that.
Yeah, depending on all, the actions that they take.
Mm-hmm.
But when another country like Russia invades a sovereign nation like Ukraine, we can't just sit around. But I was shocked by our response. I was like, wow, there's a lot of older people that used to be in coming back.
Yeah, that's true.
Dude, we're like...
I was surprised about it as well.
Don't make me do a lot of editing on this, because we have to sync it together, bro. And this is going to suck if... I totally heard you filling up your water and like... like it's filling the glass up, and I'm like, shit.
I need to be able to drink while I'm speaking.
No, you don't. You don't need to drink.
I mean, I hear you drinking.
But yeah, let's get back to the activist stuff. They're doing drugs, aren't you? I'll leave this stuff in here too. I don't give a shit. I don't fucking care.
You don't want to be editing like 24 hours.
But anyways, back to the insanity of Anonymous, of Russia, and Anonymous. I was really expecting a lot more when I seen how their troop deployment was going on the ground. It's ridiculously, I don't even know the right word to use for it.
I actually have an explanation for that, but go on with.
They're unprofessional.
Yeah,
They conscripted young children, from 18, and then they pulled teachers out of school that were in their 50s and 60s to use as cannon fodder.
It's not only that. Putin thought this invasion would be only 2 or 3 days, and they would decapitate the government and install their own leader in Kiev, right?
Yes, they thought that it would be an easy win, just walk in there and everybody surrenders, sure.
They could just waltz in and change their government.
Well, it would be like the United States invading Canada,
Exactly.
or the
Which
Netherlands
Canadians-
invading Germany.
No, well, it's more like yeah, true, of course. Or Belgium invading the Netherlands just because they speak the same language. It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
Right.
right.
But what's happening here is Putin has surrounded himself with yes men, and he spun this narrative in his own head that this would work, not knowing that the Ukrainians would resist this much because he doesn't.
You think
hire
Putin's-
people, he doesn't hire people that contradict his.
You think Putin's that stupid, dude? I think he knew. I just think he wanted to destabilize the region and start a war. There's no way in hell he didn't know that
I
these
think he
people
has-
wanted to remain autonomous.
I think he has isolated himself for a very long time and has become increasingly unhinged.
Dude, there's like reported of over 10,000 deaths in the Ukraine of his soldiers going in there. You'd think that would have slapped him upside the head and said, "Oh, wait, maybe I was wrong." And
No, but
these people.
That's where that's where Putin's ego comes in, right? He started this operation, so now he needs to finish it. He can't just walk away and accept defeat.
Right. And that's what we're gonna have to deal with.
Yep. And I think he's become so unhinged that he will try to create the former Soviet Union.
I think that was his plan.
All the way up to the Berlin Wall. And that's really bad. That does mean World War III. Because most of those countries are NATO countries. Right,
and I think we're kind of still on the brink of that, unless he eventually realizes it ain't going to happen. He's still going to try pushing his forces into Ukraine, and more of his people are going to die, and more Ukrainians are going to die. Unless his own people rise up against him and do something.
Unless his own people rise up against him and do something, yeah. Which is also very dangerous for those people, right? Because they get prosecuted for it.
And they're out in
jail.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them are trying to go out in the street and protest, but I think at the last count there was like 7,000 people that got arrested for protesting.
Exactly. They're competing with the United States for prison population at the moment.
Yeah, yeah. So, I think, what our stance is here is that we support the Ukrainian people and we support the Russian people, and our Operation Russia from Anonymous will keep going until this is resolved.
Absolutely. You can expect a whole lot more.
Yeah. So stay tuned, folks. We are vocal. There's been questions about why we use our real voices, and so we should probably address that. For me personally, I've used my real voice in a documentary, and I've been a very vocal part of the Anonymous collective for a while. I was retiring, and we decided to create this kind of channel to start kind of talking to people about different things. And so I've been using my voice for a while now. Am I worried about repercussions from that? No. Why? Because I really don't care. I mean, we're at the brink of World War III. What are they going to do to me? I don't give a shit. So go ahead, Disco.
Why I use my own voice? It's pretty simple. I don't do anything illegal, so I'm not afraid that they will come after me. And I will make sure that those who do illegal stuff will be protected.
Yes. All right, guys. I would like to thank everybody for listening to what we have to say. And I'd like to thank Disco for joining me.
Yeah, thanks everyone so much for listening. It's been fun. We'll do this more often.
Yeah, keep up to date with what's going on online, and hopefully we'll have world peace one day.
Sounds good.
We're out. Bye.